Betelgeuse, that big red star in Orion, has always been interesting to astronomers and anyone who looks up at the sky. It's huge and super bright. If it were where our sun is, it would reach all the way out to Jupiter. Even though it's about 642 light-years away, it's so big that you can see it without a telescope. Lately, Betelgeuse has been doing some weird stuff, like getting dimmer and brighter at random times. A lot of scientists think this means it's about to die. Brian Cox, the physicist, even said that Betelgeuse is about to explode into a supernova, maybe in the next couple of weeks. That'll be the end of the star, but it'll also give scientists a rare chance to study one of the biggest, most powerful things that can happen in space. Since it's about to blow, Betelgeuse is called a red supergiant, one of the biggest kinds of stars out there. Astronomers have been watching it for centuries, but these weird changes in brightness have made everyone think it's getting ready to go supernova. When a star like this runs out of fuel, the middle part collapses in on itself, and then boom. It sends a ton of energy, stuff, and radiation out into space. They think Betelgeuse will go out in a Type II supernova. That's what happens when a big star's core collapses. This collapse sends out neutrinos and radiation, which makes a shock wave that blows the star apart. When it explodes, it'll be so bright you might be able to see it from Earth without a telescope. It could even be brighter than the moon for weeks or months. Normally, something like this happening close by would be bad news, but Betelgeuse is far enough away, 642 light-years, that it won't hurt us. It'll be an awesome sight, though, and it'll teach us a lot about supernovas and other stuff in space. A supernova is one of the most powerful things in the universe. It puts out more energy in a few seconds than our sun will in its whole life. When Betelgeuse blows, it's not just going to be a cool light show, it'll be a big deal for scientists. They're ready to watch it from the very beginning with telescopes on Earth and in space, like Hubble and the James Webb Space Telescope, to get as much info as they can. When Betelgeuse explodes, it'll send out all kinds of radiation, from light we can see to gamma rays. One important thing will be the neutrinos, tiny particles that don't really interact with anything. These neutrinos can actually reach Earth before the light because they can pass through almost anything. Observatories in Japan and Antarctica are getting ready to detect these neutrinos, which will give them a head start in seeing what happens to Betelgeuse. Also, the explosion will help us learn about how heavy elements are made. When stars explode, they create and spread elements like iron, gold, silver, and uranium, the stuff we need for life. Seeing Betelgeuse go supernova will let us watch this happen in real time, which will help us understand how planets and the universe got to be the way they are. Even though Betelgeuse's supernova shouldn't hurt us, it will interact with our atmosphere and magnetic field in some interesting ways. The energy from the explosion, especially the cosmic rays and particles, could make the auroras, northern and southern lights, bigger and brighter. These cosmic rays might mess with satellites and some technology on Earth, but it shouldn't be too bad or last too long. The best part is that everyone on Earth will be able to see it, not just scientists with fancy equipment. For weeks or months, Betelgeuse should be the brightest thing in the night sky, maybe even visible during the day. It'll get people excited about space and astronomy again. Astronomers have been wondering when Betelgeuse would die for a while, but Brian Cox's recent statement makes it seem like it's happening soon. Observatories all over the world are getting ready to study every part of the supernova. The information they collect will be really valuable and could change how we understand stars, supernovas, and space. Since it's close to Earth, it gives us a good chance to measure how energy travels through space after an explosion like this. By watching the light and radiation from the supernova as it passes through the stuff between stars, gas and dust, astronomers will get a better idea of how big the universe is. This event will also give us a chance to study dark matter and how it affects supernovas. Dark matter is this mysterious stuff that makes up most of the matter in the universe, but we can't see it. By watching what happens around Betelgeuse after it explodes, we might find some clues about what dark matter is and how it affects the universe. Betelgeuse's supernova will also help us understand how stars live and die, especially how big stars create the elements we need for life. Supernovas are the main way these elements get spread around the universe, and that's how new stars, planets, and even life forms. Watching Betelgeuse will give scientists important information about how these elements are made and spread. The cultural meaning of Betelgeuse exploding is huge. People have looked at the stars for a long time for guidance, inspiration, and even meaning. When one of the brightest stars disappears, it'll make us think about how temporary things are. Betelgeuse has been in Orion for as long as people have been keeping track of stars, so it's going to be a reminder that everything changes. Different cultures have seen events like this as omens or signs of change. Betelgeuse exploding might make people feel a mix of awe, fear, and wonder. It could also get more people interested in space and astronomy. Even people who don't know much about space can see it with their own cameras or telescopes. This event will bring people together from all over the world to watch and record the same thing from their perspective. Betelgeuse's explosion isn't just an astronomical event, it's also important for space exploration. What we learn from the supernova will change how we study other stars, especially as we explore other planets and stars. It's also going to get people excited about finding life on other planets. Supernovas help spread the elements needed for life, so studying Betelgeuse will help us understand how life could spread to other planets. Betelgeuse's explosion should be one of the most important things that have happened in space in our lifetime. Its supernova will give us a lot of information, help us understand the universe better, and excite people all over the world. While it's the end of a big star, it also shows how the universe is always creating and destroying things. It's a reminder that new stars, planets, and even life can come from death. As we wait for this event, the world will be looking at the sky, waiting for one of the biggest explosions in the universe to happen. For scientists and stargazers, Betelgeuse's last act will be amazing. Brian Cox, the physicist, recently said that Betelgeuse is about to explode, maybe in the next couple of weeks. When that happens, it'll be a supernova, the end of the line for the star. But it'll also be a great chance for researchers to see one of the most amazing things in space. Since it's about to blow, Betelgeuse is what's called a red supergiant, one of the biggest stars out there. Astronomers have kept an eye on it for ages, but its recent flickering has people guessing that it's prepping for a supernova. When a star like Betelgeuse runs out of gas, its core collapses, causing a massive explosion that shoots energy, radiation, and star stuff everywhere. The explosion that Betelgeuse will make is likely a Type II supernova. When a big star's core caves in, it sends out neutrinos and radiation, making a shock wave that tears the star apart. The blast will be super bright, maybe even brighter than the moon, and you could see it without a telescope for weeks or months. Normally, that kind of thing would mean trouble if it were close by, but Betelgeuse is far enough away, 642 light-years, that it's not a threat to us. Still, the explosion should change what we figure about supernovas in space. Supernovas are wild, releasing more energy in seconds than the sun will in its whole life. Betelgeuse's blast will be cool to see and give scientists to study. They're itching to use telescopes to collect all the info they can. When Betelgeuse pops, it'll send out all kinds of radiation, including neutrinos. These particles can get here before the light because they can pass through just about anything. Observatories are getting ready to spot those neutrinos, giving them a heads up on the explosion. The blast will also show how the heavy stuff that planets and we are made of gets made. Even though Betelgeuse's supernova isn't likely to hurt us, it will still mess with our atmosphere and magnetic field. The blast of energy could make the auroras more intense and spread them out more. While these cosmic rays might mess with satellites for a bit, it shouldn't be anything major. The best thing about Betelgeuse's explosion is that everyone will get to see it, not just astronomers. For weeks, it should be the brightest thing in the sky, maybe even visible during the day. This should get people pumped about astronomy again. Astronomers have wondered when Betelgeuse would go for years, but Brian Cox's announcement makes it seem like it could be any day now. Observatories are ready to watch every second of the supernova. The info they gather could totally change how we understand stars, supernovas, and space. Betelgeuse's supernova will help scientists get a grip on how far away stuff is in space. Since it's relatively close, it's a good chance to figure out how energy from explosions travels. By watching the light and radiation from the supernova, astronomers can better understand how the universe is put together. This is a good chance to dig into dark matter and how it might affect supernovas. Since dark matter doesn't emit light, it's hard to find. But watching what happens around Betelgeuse after the explosion might give us clues about how it works and what difference it makes in the universe. Betelgeuse's supernova will also show us more about how stars live and die, and how the big ones contribute to the stuff that makes up everything. By watching Betelgeuse, scientists can get info on how these things are made and spread around. For ages, people have looked up at the stars. The thought of losing such an iconic star might make people think about how everything is temporary. Plus, people from different backgrounds may see the same omen from the sky. The technology is also here for normal people to see and understand it. Almost anyone with a camera or telescope can watch and record the supernova. This brings science to people, everyone watching the same thing from different spots. Betelgeuse's explosion isn't just a cool event, it's a stepping stone for space exploration. The data we get from the supernova will shape how we study other stars. It's important to get a handle on star life cycles as we explore more of space. This could also excite the pursuit of alien life. Supernovas seed the universe with things like carbon and oxygen, which allow life to flourish. By examining Betelgeuse, we might get a better idea of how these things could spark life elsewhere in space. The upcoming explosion is going to be one of the biggest things to happen in astronomy for a while. The explosion will give us a ton of info, improve our knowledge of the universe, and fascinate people all over. The conclusion of Betelgeuse is not just the loss of a star, but the beginning of some more stuff. Scientists are getting excited to watch as the universe's strongest forces burst into view. In a way, the life of Betelgeuse will affect everyone.